everyone. My name is Dr. Suman Ahuja. I am Assistant Professor Kaya Chikitsa in Faculty of Ayurvedic Science. So today's topic is nutritional deficiency and diseases. As we all know that nutrition is very important for our survival. In children, starvation or protein energy malnutrition, it manifests as the syndrome of Kwashiorkor and marasmus, which all you have studied in your earlier classes. But in adults, manifestation is different. It is in the form of PM is undernutrition. That is result of a sustained negative energy calorie balance. So there is an imbalance of the energy. It basically manifests as a malnutrition in adults. So what exactly are the causes of malnutrition or nutrition deficiency diseases? It is due to two factors, or decreased energy intake or increased energy expenditure. So decreased energy intake, like famine, like there is devastation of crops, damage to crops, or crops are unable to grow due to lack of water, lack of manure, due to lack of rain. So famine is one of the important causes of decreased energy intake. Persistent regurgitation or vomiting, if there is a complaint or patient is complaining of persistent regurgitation, means your gastric contents are there coming back to the mouth. It is called as regurgitation or vomiting. Next cause is the anorexia, including anorexia nervosa. Anorexia, lack of appetite. Patient doesn't have the feeling to have food. Malabsorption, for example, small intestine disease. If there is some disease of small intestine, because of the small intestine is not working, the cells are not working, so there will be less absorption of the nutrient. If patient is taking food normally in normal quantity, still he or she will be malnourished. As similarly, maldigestion, that is pancreatic, exocrine insufficiency. There is digestion problem due to less secretion of gastric juices, in which gastric juices or pancreatic juices, which are responsible for the digestion of the fat. Next is increased energy expenditure. Some of the conditions are there where energy expenditure is increased, where basal metabolic rate is increased, like thyrotoxicosis, trauma, fever, cancer, cachexia. In cancer, metabolic rate is high. That's why patients get lean and thin stature. You have seen the cancer patients, they are just like a skeleton. That condition is called as cancer cachexia. Next is excessive physical activity, like in marathon runners. Marathon runners, their physical activity is excessive because they run at a stretch 17 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers. Energy loss, like glycosuria in diabetes. Glycosuria, accretion of glucose in urine. Impaired energy storage. There are some conditions where energy storage is not proper. Like there is some disturbance, there is some abnormality, there is some discrepancy in energy storage. Patient is taking food normally, absorption is normal, digestion is normal, but now here impairment is in energy storage, which occurs in conditions like Addison's disease, pheochromocytoma. Now, how this condition, how these deficiencies or how malnourishment is clinically assessed. This protein energy malnutrition is clinically assessed. So clinical assessment can be done with anthropometric measurement of the body parts, arms, legs, back, circumference. So all measurements are called as anthropometric measurements. Height and weight charting to calculate BMI. BMI, body mass index, measurement of mid-arm circumference, that is at the middle of the humerus. Skin fold thickness over the triceps using a special caliper. Thickness should not be measured with measuring tape. It should be measured using special calipers. Muscle mass estimation by subtracting triceps skin fold thickness from mid-arm circumference. So by doing this calculation, we get the exact estimation of muscle mass. Now, what are the clinical features for protein energy malnutrition in adults or undernutrition in adults? One of the important symptoms is loss of weight, thirst, weakness, feeling cold, nocturia, passing urine in at night, craving for food, lax, pale and dry skin with loss of turgor and occasionally pigmented patches, hair thinning or loss, cold and sinuous extremities, pressure sores, muscle wasting, best demonstrated by the appearance of temporalis and periscapular muscles and reduced mid-arm circumference, which we have read in the clinical assessment. Loss of subcutaneous fat reflected in reduced skin fold thickness and mid-arm circumference. So whatever we assessed in the diagnostic evaluation, so clinical features are like this. There is a loss of reduced skin fold thickness and mid-arm circumference, which we have taken in the mid of the humerus. Next important symptom is edema. Next is subnormal body temperature. Nutrition is less, then your temperature will be subnormal. Slow pulse and low blood pressure. Distended abdomen with diarrhea. Low electrolytes because of diarrhea. Sodium, potassium, magnesium electrolytes will become low in their exactly values. Diminished tender jerks. What jerks we study in our body, we see in our body, we examine in our body, like ankle jerk, bicep jerk, tricep jerk, supinator jerk, knee jerk, they get diminished. Apathy, loss of initiative, depression, introversion. Patient likes to live lonely, likes to sit aloof. Aggression if food is nearby. He or she get aggressive whenever he or she sees the food. Susceptibility to infection. So due to lack of nutrition, there is lack of immunity that leads to these kind of patients are more prone to infections, more prone to catch infections like gastrointestinal infection, respiratory infections, for example, especially bronchopneumonia, viral diseases, especially measles and herpes simplex, tuberculosis, skin infections, helminthic infections. In advanced starvation, patient become completely inactive and assume a flexed and fetal position. You have seen elderly patients who are malnourished, who have stopped eating by mouth, they usually take flexed and fetal position. Death comes quietly and often quite suddenly. Sometimes we hear the news that somebody somewhere slept quietly and he or she didn't wake up in the morning. So death comes quietly and often quite suddenly. Before that, patient was not very ill. He or she was not in any critical condition. Now, what is the management of this protein energy malnutrition? Grading of the patient according to the BMI. So body mass index patient should be graded. Then in mild starvation there is no danger. In moderate starvation extra feeding is required, and in severe underweight hospital care is required. Food should be given in small amount and it should be palatable. The food which is being given to these malnourished or starved patients, they should be given in small amount because in large quantity they are unable to tolerate, and patients should be foods should be palatable so that it create interest of the patient in eating. Salt should be restricted. And if we see the kilocalories, so 1500 to 2000 kilocalories per day will prevent progressive undernutrition. This much of kilocalories can cover up this starvation, undernutrition, this nutrition deficiency, and it also prevents progression also. But to get the previous weight, to regain the weight, additional calories may be required. And what is the assessment that progress is satisfactory or not? So if a patient on refeeding, he or she is gaining weight, 5% body weight per month, that indicates a satisfactory progress. And other care should be done, like skin care, adequate hydration, water content should be maintained, treatment of infection, careful monitoring of the body temperature. Now this was protein energy malnutrition, which exactly is we get from proteins and carbohydrates and fat. Their balanced diet is needed to cover up the undernutrition. Now other nutrient which our body is required for the proper functioning are vitamins. First, vitamins categorized in two parts: water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin fat soluble are A, D, E, K, and B and C are water soluble vitamins. So first we will take fat soluble vitamins. In this category, first is vitamin A. Sources of vitamin A is liver, milk, butter, cheese, fish, oil. A deficiency disease, very important, night blindness, early sign of the deficiency, and it occurs due to an impairment of the dark adaptation process. Our eyes get adapted whenever we see in the dark when night comes, but if this property of the eye doesn't work, then that condition is called as night blindness. Patient is able to see in the day but not in the night. Next is xerophthalmia, untreated night blindness. If night blindness is ignored, if it is not treated, it progresses to loss of mucous cells from the cornea, and cornea takes dull, hazy, lackluster appearance due to keratinization. Next is Bitot spots, glistening white plaques of desquamated thickened conjunctival epithelium, triangular in shape, firm adherent to underlying conjunctiva. Keratomalacia, this is the final consequence that leads to corneal ulceration, scarring, and irreversible blindness. So vitamin A deficiency, severe deficiency can lead to irreversible blindness. So management on diagnosis of vitamin A deficiency is single large dose of 60 mg retinol as palmitate or acetate should be given orally, or if vomiting or severe diarrhea is there, then it should be given by intramuscular injection. Dose should be repeated the next day, or if the recovery is slow, then it should be given after 1 week also. In communities where xerophthalmia occurs, single prophylactic oral dose of 60 mg retinol given to preschool children. Nowadays, in vaccination card, there is also a schedule for vitamin A doses to the infants. Next is vitamin D. As I told you earlier, fat soluble vitamin, and it is mainly manufactured in skin under the influence of sunlight. Deficiency disease, osteomalacia, characterized by defective bone mineralization. Bone gets fragile and it becomes prone to fractures. Next condition is ricket, a clinical condition syndrome that results when osteomalacia occurs in the growing skeleton and bone deformity occurs in addition to above deformities. Management, the pharmacological form of vitamin D is ergocholic calciferol. Deficient patient is given 0.25 to 1.5 mg daily with calcium supplements orally. So these vitamin D Supplements they comes in sachet form, like in powder form, in the form of capsules, or in the form of oral suspension, oral liquids. They should be taken care of nowadays due to faulty lifestyle, due to faulty working hours. Persons are going 7 o'clock in the morning, coming late in the evening, they are doing night duties, in the daytime they are just sleeping, so there is no exposure to sunlight. So nowadays vitamin D deficiency is very common. Vitamin E sources are vegetable oils, whole grain cereal and nuts. Important dietary form is alpha tocopherol. Deficiency disease is not exactly clear, but in animal studies it leads to myopathies, neuropathies and liver necrosis. First feature of human deficiency is a mild hemolytic anemia. Ataxia and scotomas occur which respond to vitamin E. Management: its pharmacological form comes in 400 mg capsule form and given once a day. It is also coming in the combination of other muscle energizers like vitamin E plus levocardinin. Vitamin K sources are green vegetables, dairy products. Adequate amount of vitamin K are normally supplied in the average diet, or it is synthesized by the bacteria in the colon. In our normal average diet we get adequate optimum amount of vitamin K which is necessary for the body functions. Deficiency disease: if diet is not adequate, if patient is not taking normal diet, normal average diet, then the deficiency of vitamin K can occur, and as it is helpful in the manufacturing of clotting factors 2, 7, 9, 10, so its deficiency leads to prolonged coagulation and bleeding. That's why vitamin K is given to the infant just after the delivery. In management, we see newborn primary deficiency occurs because of inefficient placental transfer of vitamin K. That's why it is given routinely to newborn babies to prevent hemorrhagic disease of newborn. If we see the obstructive jaundice, vitamin K is not absorbed, so it is given parenterally before a surgery. Now water soluble vitamins, so vitamin B complex, thiamine, vitamin B1. It is present in cereals, grain, pork. Pork is fish, meat and beans. This deficiency occurs in developing country, mainly it is encountered in alcoholics. But in developing country, its deficiency usually arises through a diet which is only based on polished rice, and its deficiency causes beriberi disease. Beriberi disease manifests as infantile beriberi, dry beriberi and wet beriberi. In infantile beriberi, it is seen exclusively in breastfed infants of thiamine deficient mothers whose mothers are already thiamine deficient, so their breast milk is thiamine deficient, so it occurs in infants who are breastfed with this milk. So dry beriberi, it is basically known as neurologic beriberi. ठीक है, manifest with chronic peripheral neuropathy and a wrist or foot drop may cause Korsakoff psychosis and Wernicke's encephalopathy. Wet beriberi, it is called as cardiac beriberi. It causes generalized edema due to heart failure with pulmonary condition. If we see the management in dry beriberi, there is a very less improvement with thiamine, but it shows some improvement with multivitamin therapy. So this improvement shows that there is a role of some other vitamins also in beriberi. Deficiency of other vitamins also cause beriberi. So Wernicke's encephalopathy and wet beriberi, they should be promptly treated with IV thiamine. It comes in the form of Febrinex. It's a brand name, 2 vials, 8 hourly for 48 hours. Initially, then it should be given orally in the dose of 100 mg 8 hourly. In addition to treating underlying cause. Riboflavin, vitamin 2, main source is milk, and its deficiency is rare in developed country. But if it occurs, it mainly affects tongue, lips. It manifests as glossitis, angular stomatitis and chlosis. Genitals may be affected. causing nasolabial or facial dyssynesia, dysfunction of sebaceous gland. Management is with riboflavin 10 mg daily orally, and rapidly recovery is seen with this oral riboflavin supplement. Niacin, vitamin B3, meat and cereals are the sources to get this vitamin. If we see the deficiencies disease, important is pellagra. Pellagra is also called as disease of 3 Ds. 1 dermatitis, 2 diarrhea, and 3 is dementia. Dermatitis, it causes erythema, red colored patches on the skin just like sunburn. It appears symmetrically over the specifically sun exposed part, so particularly limbs and especially on the neck. This lesion may progress to vesicle formation, then cracks, then exudation, then secondary infection can take place. Diarrhea is associated with anorexia, nausea, glossitis, dysphagia. Dementia occurs also in severe deficiency, and delirium can also occur in later stages. Management with nicotinamide in the dose of 100 mg 8 hourly by mouth or parenteral route. Pyridoxine, vitamin B6, sources are meat, fish, potatoes, bananas. Deficiency disease, polyneuropathy. Some drugs like isoniazid, penicillamide, they act as an antagonist to this pyridoxine, vitamin B6, and causes its deficiency, and patient complains of peripheral neuropathy. Management in isoniazid induced peripheral neuropathy, it responds to oral vitamin B6. Larger doses of this is also used in radiotherapy induced nausea, and in pregnancy vitamin B6 is given to manage nausea, carpal tunnel syndrome, and premenstrual syndrome. Biotin sources is liver, egg yolk, cereal, yeast, and deficiency causes scaly dermatitis, alopecia, bald patches on the scalp, and paresthesia, unusual feeling sensation in the body. Management, patient, they will respond to biotherapy, oral biotin therapy. Vitamin B12 and folate, sources liver, animal products respectively. Deficiency disorders, vitamin B12, megaloblastic anemia, neurological degeneration, and its management is with hydroxycobalamin, although response is slow. Folic acid prevents neural tube defect from imperfect closure of neural tube. So management, maternal supplementation with folate reduces the risk of neural tube defect. Next important is vitamin C, ascorbic acid. As its name is suggests, its sources is fresh fruits, vegetable, and its deficiency causes scurvy. Scurvy, precipitative factors of the deficiency of vitamin C is the lack of dietary fruit and vegetables more than 2 months, and infant exclusively fed on boiled milk. Its demand increases in trauma, surgery, burns, infections, smoking, and drugs. If we see the clinical features of deficiency, swollen and bleeding gums, perifollicular petechial hemorrhages, ecmosis, hemoarthrosis, GI bleeding, anemia, poor wound healing. Management, vitamin C should be given in 250 mg or 8 hourly by mouth, and in this much dose is sufficient to saturate the tissue quickly. So this was all about nutrition and deficiency disorders. Thank you very much.